Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi, and I wanted to talk about healing the cycle of life today. And I got called, or shall we say, inspired by our beautiful ancestors and our children to talk a little bit about this. I am a spiritual alchemist, a seer, a channel to the divine, and I also practice angelic alchemy hypnosis regressions, as well as angelic alchemy Reiki and Akashic readings. And I also do spiritual mentoring. You can visit my website, www.angelicalchemyholistichealing.com. And I'm also on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So let's get started. So over the term of my work here after spiritual awakening, as well as, as I was getting along on my path, learning lessons, receiving messages, downloads, working on myself, shadow work, and all of that, I realized that very often in meditation, but mostly in dream time, I would see, my ancestors showing up with the angels, with messages, or sometimes they were not even messages. They were just showing me what they were doing for me. The angels would, show me what the ancestors were doing for me and my journey here on earth. And it was a beautiful, beautiful realization because, as we go along our path sometimes, and most of the times for many people, many of us, it happens that we tend to go in hermit mode where we get drawn into ourselves and we get called to retreat back into ourselves, into, fully remembering who we are, anchoring our energies into the foundation of the work that we do, into activating ourselves, expanding our souls and our consciousness. And in doing so, we do actually limit our interactions with the world outside for various reasons. And while doing this, what we don't realize is that there are also our ancestors that are connected to the family lineage that have already crossed over, or they have passed on from the physical plane. And that they hold a very important role in our journeys, depending on how we want to, take it, receive it, and also depending on where they are on their own journey and how much work they've also done on themselves. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now, looking into that, our ancestors are our past. They are our past in terms of who we possibly were, because this is a cycle of life. And more often than not, most of us get reborn within the same soul family and the same physical family here on earth as well. So therefore, we could have been our great-grandmothers and, great-grandfathers reincarnated once again. So if you look at our generation, the who we are here, our ancestors being our past, we being here in the now, and our children being our future, we being the manifestations of the creations of our ancestors. So for example, hypothetically speaking, if someone was sitting there in, say, North America, Native Indian, or, just Indian or Asian, and going through something in their life, and, they land up saying something like, in my future life, I want to make sure I don't have this problem at all. In my future life, I would love to do this. In my future life, I would like to do that. And, they sometimes call on God source to help them with that as well. So, they go ahead and they manifest what they want to do in future, and they let go of whatever's holding them back in whatever sense that they can in that moment. And here we are. We could possibly be that future that they just created. For example, someone might have said, oh, I hope I, come back into my life, having something more meaningful than what I'm doing right now. Right now, my life is more of a rested life. I don't feel that I'm contributing much. And I hope, next time I have a purpose to my life with something more, and that something that I'm more aware of. And here you are, you wake up as this awakened soul, or during your journey, you wake yourself up and you step into your purpose. So you could possibly be a manifestation of that beautiful ancestor that wished upon their journey for their soul to incarnate the next time over as an awakened soul, or with new abilities, or with a new path, or a different country, or learn a new skill. So as they do that, we in the present now could possibly be our ancestors as well. And as we are going through our life, we look at our own life and we say, hey, I definitely want to make sure this doesn't pass down to my children. This stops here with me, and whatever's running in my family needs to stop here. We don't want it passing on to our children, and we want to make sure our children come in more protected, more safe, more awakened, and they don't have to go through the stuff we're going through, and here we are now. We're manifesting our future selves, or parts of ourselves that are going to be born as our children, because that's who we are. Our children that are born through us are a piece of our heart, a piece of us that are taking birth. And sometimes, quite literally, you do birth your own higher self. So you could be, say, for example, you could be Mother Sophia, a fractal of Mother Sophia, or another angel, and then you give birth, and you actually give birth to another Mother Sophia fractal, which is another version of you. So we are constantly manifesting our generations. So looking at our ancestors who are our past, and then looking at our children who are our future, where do we stand? We are in the middle. We are in the now, and therefore we are that bridge. We are that bridge in the cycle of life. Our ancestors being our past, and then we are the now, and then our children coming forth. So we being the bridge, it's a beautiful opportunity for us to now step up our role and step into making sure that the work that was started by our ancestors comes to a beautiful fulfillment as we birth our children, by us actually taking on the role of actually alchemizing and working on what we want to do for the future generations that are coming in, which are basically the anchor points and the foundations of starlight, stardust, star energy, and angels, coming onto earth and making it easier for them. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And some of us might have, gone, as I was saying, into the hermit mode. So if you are in that mode where you're limiting your interactions with, extended families, friends, and you're going more inwards into yourself, you can still hold love light for your ancestors to heal and for your children to heal by just bringing in that compassion and activating more of that compassion and working from a higher self point of view, from a higher picture, higher perspective, looking at the overall picture and helping and connecting with your ancestors. Okay. Now, when I was doing this work for myself, here are some of the things that I did. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about my clients, who had sessions which were related to this as well. How I started off for my own ancestral healing and the healing of the lineages was directly connecting with the angels. And we all have these gifts. You can look at activating yourself from inside. There are various ways of doing it. Going within, meditating and silencing your mind and connecting with the wisdom within you, within the blueprints of your souls, your DNA, your soul's blueprint is the best way out in this situation. So I connected with the angels and, making sure, checking in with all the ancestors to make sure that everyone that has passed on, that they have fully crossed over, which most of them do that, depending on, what sort of a situation you had going on in your family. But some of them can tend to leave fragments of themselves, pieces of their souls, fractured soul pieces or essences behind into the family lineage to help other family members, especially if someone was going through a rough patch and they felt they needed to still be around for some of the members, or they felt too attached at the time of their death and they couldn't really leverage that disconnection, and they decided to stay back a little bit, making sure that they have fully crossed over, because you don't want them to be stuck between the 3D and the 5D, which is basically they would be in the higher 3D or the lower 4D realm if they are still stuck here and not fully ascended out or not fully gone to light. So they would still be around and people would see them in their dream time. They would feel the taps and that they're around, but they in that state, in the between 3D high to 4D lower 4D state, they can still feel a lot of human emotions, and they're very, very connected to their life here. And a lot of their emotions, their behavior patterns would still continue to be within them. Okay, so they may not be at the highest best potential to be able to help themselves, or forget helping you, but help themselves basically in the situation that they are in. So really going in and working with the archangels and Jesus, Yeshua, Mother Mary, or Divine Mother, from whichever religion that you work with or whichever part of the world that you live in, whoever you connect with for your divine benevolent guides, you help them to cross over, to make sure that every single part of them, essence, everything has crossed over fairly and beautifully, and that they're healing on the other side. Okay, once they do that, they come more into alignment with their higher selves, and they can be their more angelic self and are able to help themselves and decide better for themselves whether they want to reincarnate or they want to stay there in the spirit realm with the angels in their higher dimensional forms, aiding you as well as aiding whoever else that they're meant to aid or whatever else that meant to do with their spirit for their own expansion. It's about them. It's not, always about us, but I'm talking about how you can actually aid in this journey. Okay. So once they've ascended out, and then some of them, by the time we come into our awakening and we realize what's going on, there's ascension happening, Earth is ascending, our universe is ascending, souls are ascending. But hey, what happens to all our ancestors that went ahead before us? And, what if they're not reincarnated? What's going on with them? So in healing yourself and healing, as I'm going to talk about right now, aspects of ancestral lineage, you can actually, in cases where they've more or less worked on themselves and they've worked on the path and their journeys and their karmic patterns, you could actually help them ascend out and not come back into the reincarnation cycle and be in the higher realms. And when the ascension finally happens for the universe, then they can decide where they want to go and whether they would come back to a 3D, 4D, 5D, or just go back to the home planet. That's totally up to them. So you can actually help your ancestors that have already crossed over. If they've done all their work, if they've done most of their work, you can still help them in the now to ascend and stay ascended. And here's how you can work on some of the things, okay? Now, religion, I wanted to talk a little bit about religion because most religions, I'm not sure if it's most, but I'm aware that there are many religions. I know that in Hinduism, we have a lot that we do for our beautiful ancestors, and then we have it for the Mexicans as well. They respect and honor their ancestrals, and there are actually months in the year that are dedicated to ancestral love, healing, connecting with the beautiful spirits of the ancestors. Now, in most cases, if we've noticed in religion, they always teach us to, call on God and help them to cross over where you're praying. Okay, so that's beautiful. Of course, God's source will step forth and, and aid in that as you being the beautiful rainbow bridge for them. Even through the prayer, you're doing that. They will still aid. Now, the difference is when you go to university or you go to school and you have an exam or a test that you need to give, we all pray, oh God, I hope I come up with flying colors and I really pass this test and I get amazing results. So we've put out that prayer into the universe, or that intention, prayer, intention, whatever you want to call it, whatever feels comfortable to you. And yes, whoever you spoke with, which is basically your divine benevolent guides, source, they will step forth and they will help you to be your best and to score well and do well. However, you still need to put in that extra work. They're not going to come in and write a test for us. We still need to study. We still need to be disciplined. We need to pay attention at school or study whatever we're reading. If it's just self-study, we need to make sure that we put in that effort, right? So that is what I'm talking about today, where we are taking this next level healing. This is next level healing, where we're not just praying and setting out an intention, where we're actually doing the work ourselves. So when it comes to ancestral healing, some of the things that you can look out for ancestral healing is healing contracts, negative contracts that are running in the family lineage, diseases, disorders, inverted patterns, inverted thinkings, curses, black magic, could be spells, could be, is it lack of abundance? Is it that, people are going to school, but they're not finishing their education? What is the pattern that is running in the family? And you can look at all of those negative inverted patterns. And then within yourself, you can go in and heal yourself. You can get a session done, but you can also start working with yourself, doing shadow work for yourself, starting to heal that and remove it from your own DNA and say that I am done with the lesson and I'd like to move forward from it. And if this is an inversion, higher self, angels, remove it, transmute and remove it completely for my entire family lineage, our DNAs, our ancestors, and our future children. Of course, respecting and honoring all universal laws. And when you say that, then all of the laws of the universe are respected and you're not overcrossing any boundaries. And only those ancestors and those forthcoming children that want that healing for themselves, that don't want to experience that, will accept that. Their higher selves will accept that, and it'll come out of the DNA lineage. So even if you had it, say, going on at 90% and 60 or 70% of them decide to accept it, it's way better than, 90% of them going through the same experience, right? So those are some of the things that you can do. And sometimes there can be debilitating patterns that are running in the family. It could be that of traumas. It could be like some related to pain. It could be related to being stuck in loopholes, in repeated patterns, in repeated loops. And that's what you want to heal. So you need to go into details to find out where it actually started from. And then you need to go to the root cause of it. Okay. So we've had several sessions where clients have noticed that, they had something going on coming from the mother's lineage. And, we like look into the eyes and see what happened to the mother, what happened to the grandmother, going back and back and back, sometimes all the way back to 5 generations. And then we realize, oh, it was a pure lineage. However, there is something that happened in the village. The reptilians came in and they started putting their attachments in them, into their blood, into their DNA. Also, the reptilians we've seen integrated into someone's DNA, and then it started coming down and affecting the maternal side, and then affecting, the mother-daughter, mother-children relationships. So we had to go all the way back to that lineage, to the point, the root cause, the seed point of that inversion, and heal it from there, heal it for those ancestors, and then bring it out, cleanse the DNA, the archangels, divine mother, divine father, source. They do that. They have the ability to do this multidimensional work. So they do it, and all we do is we hold space for it, which is not all we do. I think that is really beautiful, because you need to be a clear channel of love light of source with an expanded soul and consciousness and compassion to basically hold space for your ancestors for that. Okay. So sometimes you're literally removing negativity from the DNA, inversions that happen that are not meant to be a part of your DNA anymore. So now that you removed it from that ancestral lineage, you removed it from yourself, you removed it from the ancestral lineage, it no longer belongs to the DNA of the children, the forthcoming children that are coming into this beautiful family lineage. And so therefore you alchemize, alchemize, alchemize. Alchemy is not a jargon. It is a very simple phenomena of turning anything that is dark and inverted into something light and fruitful and benevolent, so that it can go on its most beautiful, benevolent, highest timeline. Okay. And we can all do this with love, from the alchemy of our heart. Our hearts are the biggest alchemists of our universe, and the love that resides in it is the biggest alchemy tool that can be used for changing the pattern, transforming into rebirthing into positive benevolence. Okay. Now, talking about children, some of the things that we can heal for our children. Now, looking at what our children are, they basically, as I said earlier, children are star children. They are coming to earth to anchor that foundation for light, for the love light of source to come here, for wisdom to be re-anchored onto earth, for negative inverted matrices to now to be turned positive, for inverted codes to be changed back into positive organic codes. So there's a lot that the children do here. And these children that are coming in, there could be a couple of ways that they could be coming, could be ancestors, children that have been here on, souls that have been here on earth and they're just rebirthing, or they could be pure new souls that are coming to earth. So if they're new souls, they're anyways going to come in with the beautiful benevolence of the codes that they carry and the blueprints that they are. However, because they're birthing through your DNA still needs to be cleared. Your lineage still needs to be clear. So you want to make sure that you help them with their role in clearing that foundation for them. Okay, it's very, very challenging for these beautiful children of love light of source. The energy is so pure and beautiful. It's challenging sometimes for them to even anchor themselves on earth. So in healing them, in healing ourselves, first of all, and then through our healings, we can also make an intention for healing the children. We can heal abductions, we can heal experiments done on them, we can heal toxicity, we can heal the chemicals, metals sent into them through, the chemtrails, through the food that we eat. We can heal all of the programming, negative programming coming through video games. We can heal inverted patterns. We could heal also projections that children have on them. Okay, many times adults don't realize, but their own unhealed traumas, their own unhealed imbalanced behaviors can be projected upon their children, knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, we want to make sure we don't want to do that, because then that becomes an impression on them, and then they pick up those little bits and pieces and they start impersonating that. So in healing ourselves, removing it from ourselves, from our DNA, we also help to make sure that our children are not tainted with that. So that's how you can go ahead and you can heal the lineages of your family cycles. So in the last 10 days, during the entire term of the 8-8 portal, starting from July all the way to 8-8, going to 8-12, 8-16, as these energies of the Sirius Stargate, Lionsgate portal were on, it was a very monumental time for healings to happen on Earth in collective measures, multidimensional healings. So I personally had a lot of sessions back to back of ancestral healing, as well as healing of children. And session after session, we, through the aid of the divine source, divine mother, divine father, Archangel Michael, Mother Sophia, and the beautiful benevolent dragons, millions of souls of children were removed from entrapments, from under earth, from dark inverted shadows of dark planets and other places that they were being held captive. Those souls were released, and a lot of them are not ready to come back to earth. They're going to ascend out and they're going to stay there, but many of them are going to come back into the cycle because they want to continue the journey that they started here on earth. So in healing them through, those healings, through your own self-healing, through healing the family chains, you are basically helping to anchor in that foundation that they are meant to be, and you help in making their job easier. So when they come here, they don't have to fight those challenges that you're going through and your ancestors go through. They can straight away come in and be who they are and do what they came here to do. It's just basically just be the love light that they are and the various archetypes that they are within this universe. So in healing your ancestors and yourself, and then also your children in this beautiful cycle of healing for your family patterns and that of the collective, because then it ripples out. They don't just heal one family, they heal multiple, multidimensionally, whoever's ready to heal. You can actually birth in, bring in, anchor in freer generations, and the generations that are to come will be free from unnecessary karmic bonds, connections, inversions, and anything tying them down, and they will be free angelic beings to be here and do what they came here to do. I hope this helps you in working on your own patterns for your own family and holding space for your own family, and also in connecting with your beautiful ancestors. They work directly with the angels as you see them, and I've seen them in dream time myself in the most challenging times of my life. I've been working, and suddenly I saw a hand come out, and I took the hand, and there it was, my beautiful grandmother shining gloriously in her divine mother form, with the divine mother showing me that she is here and she's going to be here for my role, and she's going to support my role. She's going to support my journey and that of many of my brothers and sisters who are going to take up this role. And she's not alone, because there are millions of ancestors here that are waiting to be our guides. And you can, if you feel more comfortable connecting with them through the angels or Yeshua, Mother Mary, Divine Mother, Sophia, Durga Ma, you can feel free to do that, to make sure that you are always connecting with the benevolence of all that there is. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening in, everyone. And I hope this helps your journey as it has helped mine and many of my beautiful clients, brothers and sisters. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Keep doing the beautiful work that you are doing. Thank you. I love you.